So I wanted to share a little bit about my story. Maybe you'll find out that this is a place you want to be and enjoy and get inspired and encouraged to do your own thing. Maybe you'll find out it's completely the opposite and not for you, and that's okay too. But if you're like me, you knew from a very young age that you wanted to do something different, that you wanted to make a bigger impact. And maybe having a lemonade stand for you, like for me, was the most satisfying thing in the world. And then I even went on to paint rocks and sell those, and I made dogs out of Play-Doh and painted them and sold them. And I would do that for hours on the weekend as a kid. And it was just so fulfilling. And then you near the end of high school and you're supposed to all of a sudden decide what you want to do for your life career, and you're guided in certain directions. You know, I went into business, marketing, and then I went into disability studies because I knew I wanted to help people. And then I ended up getting into nursing, honestly by fluke. That's for another time. I'll tell you that story. You do it, you go through, you think, okay, this is great. I'm a professional now. I have a job, my life is set. And as a nurse here in Alberta, you get a pension, everything is great. So you start working. And you're realizing that this job is not fulfilling you deep, deep down. So you do a job maybe for a few months, a year, and then you switch to something else. And I would get super excited, for the next job and be like, hey, this is it. I'm working in a private executive health clinic. I'm going to love this. It's going to be great. And then it's not, because even the people that work there are not passionate about what they're doing. So it's really hard to keep going. And then, you switch to, like me, dermatology, and you're there for a few months and you're like, oh, okay, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And on and on and on and on. I mean, I even went into work at the Pediatric Center for Weight and Health because I'm also certified in nutrition. And I thought, this is great. I'm going to love this. 7 months later, management was not supportive whatsoever. And I always felt like I had these ideas. I wanted to be innovative. I could always envision ways to make things better in my job, but no one heard me. No one wanted to listen to me. And so you go on, and what happens is it starts just sucking the energy from you. You feel like I'm giving so much to this job. Not only am I spending like 40 plus hours a week at it, but you're putting your heart and soul into it, and you're just not getting anything back. So again, you try and try and try. And for me, it was always like, well, Kelly, you're a nurse. You can have a stable career. You're so lucky. You should just enjoy, the fact that you have a steady paycheck and a pension and all of these things. And really, it was just eating me away inside. And ultimately, I went on. I've been a nurse now for 18 years. I haven't really worked as a nurse for 3 of those years, but even 10 years ago, so even as I was in nursing, I tried to start my own business because I was like, no, I'm certified in nutrition. I work in corporate. I know there's a space or a need in corporate wellness, so I'm going to start my own corporate wellness business. And I did. And it was great for a while, but it was just me. And then I even came up with the idea, so this was in 2012, to partner with a chef and create a healthy lunch delivery program. Now, back then, there was nothing like it, like there is now. And unfortunately, making money off healthy food is really hard. It costs a lot of money. So, I did that. I did everything. I had the website. I had the outfit. I, worked with the chef to create the meals. I delivered the meals downtown to the executives, all of it. And then, because I didn't have the money to invest, I went back to public health, and I worked in there for about 8 years. And again, I tried to tell myself, Kelly, you can talk nutrition with these new moms, starting solids with their babies. You can find ways to, involve your passion. And I tried and I tried and I tried, and still it just, again, started to suck the life out of me. So I was like, hey, I'm going to do this again. So I started my own health coaching online. This was in 2020, so a lot of things were online. Again, corporate wellness. And then I realized, okay, this is 2020. Now there's a lot of free information online. So trying to sell something to someone as a health coach was really difficult at the time. So again, then I ended up getting another job. actually working behind the scenes, working for Netcare for 5 years, and I worked from home, I worked remotely, I got to do webinars and teach people. And again, I was like, this is the easiest job in the world. Like, I should be so lucky to have this. I get paid well, I stay at home, you know, all of the things. And again, draining. And I finally said, you know what? I gotta do something. I gotta be with people, I gotta work with people. And unfortunately, in the nursing industry, I'm not getting what I need. So 3 years ago, I decided to do permanent makeup. You know, I used to love to draw as a kid. I felt that now that I had the medical background, I was obviously good with needles and blood and all of that. So that's when I started Belle Beauty Lounge, which I'm still running now. And you know, it's definitely satisfying. I'm doing my own thing. Now I have 4 employees. You know, we're building and growing and it's great and I love it. But what I really love is starting businesses. So you gotta think like, what is this now? Oh my gosh, 15 years ago, I didn't have money to pay someone to design a website. So I built my own, designed my own, managed my own. I created all of the different handouts. Back in the day, we didn't have Canva, so I had to like design them and go to the printers and print them off. And I had folders that I would hand out for my corporate wellness stuff and all of these things. And, you know, it just was like years and years of learning and building and growing. So even though, you know, I started multiple businesses, this is technically my 4th, I do not look at these as failures. This has brought me to where I am now. And because I know what it takes to start a business, that's where I want to help you. I want to save you a million hours of time and stress and headache, especially if you're like me and you're working full-time or close to, and you can't just leave. I get it. You can't just like drop this, you know, so-called wonderful job and pension and just leave and go for it. So I get it. I had to slowly cut down until I felt confident enough to go on my own. And now I'm on my own. And you know what? I do not regret it at all. Even though I don't get a pension, you know what? For me, it's now. I've had too many experiences with family members and, you know, almost died because of different illnesses and such. And you realize, okay, having a pension is great, but what's my health? What's the state of my life gonna be like when I'm ready to retire at 55, 60? We don't know. So for me, it's about now and doing what I love now. So I wanna just help support people to make that decision. Because I always felt like what the analogy that I'd use is I feel like I have 1 foot on the gas and 1 foot on the brake at the same time, and I'm just spinning my tires and I'm not getting anywhere. And finally, when I left and was able to go on my own, you know, I'm going full out. So that's really what I want to support and encourage. But not only that, I want to help you create your website. You know, how do you use Canva? How do you set up your POS system? Do I need insurance? Do I need a business license? Do I need, you know, all of these things? Do I need to talk to the Canadian Nurses Protective Society because I'm a nurse and I need to know, like, where am I at? Am I providing nursing services or not? That's what I'm here for. So this is a place for inspiration, support. I want to answer your questions. I'm going to interview other business owners and talk about their experience, because being an entrepreneur is not easy at all. You will have never worked harder in your life, but it is so worth it. Trust me. Even on the bad days, you're going to scream, you're going to cry, and that's okay. Things are going to go up and down, but it's worth it. Trust me.